So we've changed the format today to enable everyone to see each other. Feel free to have your video on or video off. It's absolutely fine. And please mute your mic. We'll have questions at the end of each speaker and then at the very end of the session, but put them in the chat box so we can manage those as we go. In yesterday's newsletter, I said that we're all in the people business, and while there is a lot of noise going around in our industry right now, our members and customers are our reason for being, so they're perhaps especially important to discuss today, not to minimise the impact of recent announcements and developments, but really right now, member and customer engagement will enable us to focus on the basics and get back to basics and focus on the people that we serve. So, important to note that other factors are at play, but we want to make sure that we want to provide you with strategies and tips to be the venue of choice in your neighbourhood, and also to demonstrate that we're multifaceted, nuanced businesses that are there for our communities. So welcome. Now I know on the line we've got club leaders, directors, operations managers, marketing managers, membership managers, partners, any number of functions. And today is designed to provide a good snapshot of a range of areas. And we'll start from a macro view with Jen Kellerman from Australian Super, move to Michelle Pascoe for a focus on that customer service and leadership element, and then on to Andrew Quigg, who'll look a little bit more at socials and the importance of those in our businesses. Now, we talked in the sections as well, we'll look a little bit at metrics, a personal approach, digital, having a culture of member and customer element, excellence, because that's key, and which initiatives build loyalty and encourage positive action in your clubs. I'll firstly introduce our speakers and then I'll hand over to Jen to do a little presentation. So Jennifer Kellerman is the Senior Manager of Strategic Retention at Australian Super, and she joined Australian Super in 2018. And she works to ensure the fund has a comprehensive and effective long-term approach to member retention. And I'm excited to see the parallels drawn between Australian Super, who is also a member-based body, to ourselves in whether or not it's clubs or whether or not it's corporate partnerships and community partnerships. So over to you, Jen.
Thank you, Margot. Hi, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen, so just bear with me while I just work out how to do this. I did practice, so we'll do it properly. Now, hopefully you can see the right screen. You can see that on the screen there, everybody?
Yes. Yes,
we're good to go. So I just thought I'd start off with a little bit of a story to set the scene on this today, about myself, actually. So about 12 months ago, I moved from Melbourne to Brisbane. So my husband owned bars in Melbourne, and after COVID, we decided we needed a fresh start. It was a lot to go through, particularly through Melbourne and having a venue. So I understand probably leave on the call. So moving here, the biggest unexpected challenge was that we didn't have our friend close group around us, or really that community around us that we had in Melbourne. At times it was quite isolating for us. So we decided to make some new friends, as you do. And there was a local RSL bowls club in our area, and we decided to give it a go. So going there for the first time, what struck me immediately and what surprised me the most was how warm a welcome we received and the sense of community we were met with. You know, people from all ages, all walks of life, all looking for the same thing as us: friendship, community, and somewhere to belong. And that brings me to today, because I draw the same parallel with Australian Super, in that we also want to create a community of engaged and like-minded members who are united in a shared purpose of living their best life and living their best retirement and being with a fund that can help them achieve that. So this is going to be something I'm going to come back to a few times in today's presentation. And the first thing I want to put out there is a concept of this: people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I'll say it again, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And when it comes to your business, I ask you, what is your why? And why do you do what you do? So What makes up an effective member engagement program? Well, it's the combined sum of parts and a well-rounded offer that will deliver optimal value to members and drive member loyalty and continued choice of your brand or your venue. They'll keep coming back. They're choosing you over and over again. So at Australian Super, our member offer is comprised of 6 component parts. 1, promotion, the way we promote and communicate to members, very much when my team and I are focused. 2, products, obviously, what we offer. 3, distribution, the way our products are made available to our members. 4, service, the activities, the benefits, the options available to our members. And then it all comes together in value and price, together with promotion, product, service, and distribution. This contributes to the total perceived member value. But then we come to the why, the most important component. Because whilst delivering to what you do and how you do it are very critical as part of a well-rounded offer, and this is where most brands actually spend their time talking about, oh, we do this, or we can do that, and this is how we do it. To build an effective member engagement program and brand strategy, why must be at the center of everything, because people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. That leads me into Australian Super's purpose. So what is our why? So our why is to help our members achieve their best possible position in retirement as their trustworthy guide. Our purpose underpins our entire membership strategy. It is the thing we come back to every time. It directs our decision-making, and it's the lens we put on everything we do. We are constantly asking ourselves, how is what we are doing today helping our members achieve their best possible financial position in retirement? And how do we bring this to life? Well, we do this by engaging members in a meaningful and personalised way. We're demonstrating our value, and we're earning, keyword earning, our position as their trustworthy guide to ensure they have the best position in retirement and they have the best retirement outcome possible. So, our member engagement approach. So we know the best outcomes stem from members taking positive actions, and it takes the form of 2. So the first part of this is member actions. We work with members to provide a lifetime of help and guidance so they can make better choices, to build their super balance and look forward to the future with confidence. Plus, it's the fund's good actions. So we use our size, our scales, and our skills to deliver consistently strong returns in the long run, so our members can trust that their super is being managed with their best interests at heart. And with this philosophy underpinning our member engagement approach, we have a holistic, multifaceted, and multi-channel member engagement program that is designed to meet the needs of all members, because we recognise that with such a diverse membership base, with varying degrees of financial literacy and confidence, there is no one single approach to drive member actions and engagement. So in terms of our channel mix, so we talk to our members through multiple channels with a mix of inbound and outbound activity. We have our direct one-to-one channel, our app, our website, our member portal, our contact centre, business and advisor channels, and our education team who deliver education both face-to-face and digitally. And all of these work together to ensure we are delivering a well-rounded offer to our members based on their individual needs and preferences. And on any given day, we're talking about contacting over 70,000 members via our various member engagement programs. And we talk about a range of things. Our programs are very wide and broad, from welcoming new members to the fund, setting them up for success, all the way through to helping our members who are thinking about retirement understand what their options are, educating on the things they should know or be thinking about, and helping them better understand advice and investment options. But everything we do is anchored in our purpose of helping our members achieve their best financial position in retirement. So that brings me to how it all comes together, you might be thinking. So we have an overarching life cycle member engagement framework, which essentially is an interconnected member experience and ecosystem that is designed to guide the lived member experience and to help members feel connected, informed, in control, and certain of their continued choice to be a member with Australian Super. The lifecycle framework at its core is really a series of meaningful communications between the fund and a member to connect, inform, help and guide their next best action towards their best possible retirement outcome. Now, within this ecosystem, we have what I like to call the retention trinity. Essentially, it's the three key ingredients that all come together, that work together to deliver to our purpose. So the first component is our personalised and proactive communication program. So we've got 4 strategic programs that sit within this, focused on accumulation and pension engagement, retirement planning, and defection prevention. But essentially, here we celebrate milestones, we educate members on investment options, explain fees, we talk about policy, we encourage good actions to consolidate or finalise super or make a voluntary contribution or open up a choice income account when the time comes. The second big component is obviously member educational learning. So we deliver that, as I've mentioned, face-to-face at events, digitally, in the form of webinars, on-demand videos and podcasts, all with the focus of improving financial literacy of our members and helping to increase their confidence and knowledge. And finally, behavioural and emotional loyalty. So this is a growing focus for the fund, and it's designed to deliver back tangible value and reward good actions of our members. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that a bit later on the next couple of slides. Before I do, it would be remiss of me not to touch on measurement. So I'm not going to talk about this too much, but I will talk about how we measure things at Australian Super. So our measurement methodology is a mix of what we call both functional and emotional metrics. We use analytics, data, insights, member signals, behavioural economics and psychology principles to understand member needs and to make sure we provide effective help and guidance both preemptively and proactively, emphasising with members' life moments to help them connect their needs to take action in the present. So really anchored in the present. To achieve this, we have what we call a RAD framework. So it's called Relationship, Action, Defection. And every single one of our members is given a score in these 3 pillars. And then we use these scores to then measure the impact of our communications to then inform what conversations we should be having with that particular member. And now I thought, because of the group we're talking to, might worth just spending a little bit of time, a couple of slides, talking about loyalty. And Margaret's touched on that too. So the first point I make is consumers will simply give more money to businesses they feel more emotionally connected to and will continue to ignore or even oppose those that provide no emotional value. So why does building emotional loyalty matter? Well, building a base of emotionally loyal members should be the primary goal for most businesses, and it entails a deeper level of commitment to the brand, and it does go beyond the financial extras the brand offers. And why should you all care? Well, because consumers create emotional ties to physical things they enjoy every day. So using emotional messaging gives a higher sense of self and allows us to connect with like-minded people. Very, very relevant in a club and venue situation where people are tending to come because they enjoy the atmosphere and the people they meet there. So there are 3 types of loyalty. The first is rational. We would have all been very familiar with this. Purely transactional, think your point schemes, and this is where most, if not all, brands currently exist. Then we move into behavioural loyalty, which is more around repeat customers, creating that habitual behaviour, and it's a good space to be in. Finally, emotional. This is all about the service, the vibe, the storytelling, the people, the trust in your brand. And for me, the optimal mix is probably a mix of behavioural and emotional. And then a couple of ideas here on how to tie emotion into your loyalty and member engagement program. Well, because emotional customers are the most engaged, it's more important than ever to nurture them through your various member engagement strategies and loyalty programs. And a really, really big part of this is interaction. So whether it's through in-store or coming to the venue or receiving an email or being on the phone or even social media, a customer wants to feel recognised and they want to feel appreciated. It's also important to allow emotional customers to express themselves about your product, your venue, your brand. And you give them a platform to share their aspirations to an audience that cares. And in doing so, they connect with like-minded people that share one common denominator, your brand, your venue. So some ideas and ways that you can try to create emotional loyalty within your venues and businesses. 1, a unique loyalty program. So not just talking about, points, I'm talking around, this can be a nurturer beyond transactional rewards. So think about exclusive, personalised experiences, surprise and delight, but of course, some traditional discounts and offers in there. Refer a friend. This is obviously a big one. The referred customer is the most valuable and on average about 30% more likely to remain a customer and refer others. The third is user-generated content. So as I mentioned above, this helps create a sense of self and connection when members are involved with the brand's messaging. So in conclusion, when it comes to building emotional loyalty, it goes back to good business. So one, provide a great customer experience and meet their needs. Transaction rewards provide useful incentives. We find customers with more emotional ties are more loyal. It's important to create a balance between retention and member engagement strategies by creating emotional loyalty through your brand's messaging and service. And finally, by building that brand trust, you're more likely to create a true bond with your customers. And to conclude, I've got some tips for you all. So to recap, one, be clear on your why and your member offer. Put the member at the center of everything. Review member offer. Are there gaps? Does it need adjustment? Consider how you communicate your offer to your members and your customers. Two, how well do you know your customers? What are the moments that matter to them? Develop a lifecycle strategy and framework that identifies all the moments in a person's life, their birthday, Anzac Day, weddings, birth, retirement, the list goes on, and design your member engagement program around that. Three, as I've mentioned, employ behavioural and emotional loyalty principles into your member engagement program. So think about what you can do in your business to make your members feel recognised and appreciated. Identify your most loyal and engaged members and recruit them to refer friends and give them a reward. And involve your members. Ask them to do a survey. Tell them get them to tell you how they feel about your venue and what could be improved. Let them feel like they're involved and part of it. Four, so data capture and personalization is key. Data is king. So consider ways to capture member data, but use it in a way that is going to benefit your members through personalized offers, business updates, curated content, events, activity, and so on. And finally, effective measurement to inform decision-making. It should really ideally be a mix of both functional and emotional metrics, utilising behavioural economics to directly inform decision-making. And thank you. Stop sharing.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'll just remind everyone that if you have any questions, pop them in the chat function. I'll start off with one or two. Yes, thank you again. Thank you to Super. I see Maria and Craig there. Welcome. And to Jennifer. So Australian Super, I imagine, has fairly large teams around engagement and retention and various things. And looking at that multi-channel engagement, what are one or two things you think that might be more powerful, or, I don't know if quick wins is the right word, but what have you observed are one or two things that clubs might be able to do to have a really big impact?
Yeah, I would think, having kind of worked in venues myself with my husband, so obviously I used to do his marketing, I think the data side is really important. A big thing we used to do was get the data, and then we could create newsletters and different content to, have our VIP lists. We'd have reward and recognition programs where you come in, you're a VIP member, and that would be recognised. So I think they're really big things. Another big thing would be, again, behaviours. People like to have certainty. Oh, Wednesday night's steak night, Thursday night's this night, whatever it is. People love that stuff, right? And they build their lives around it. So
Andrew's nodding. I think he's taken away from him.
And if people remember it, right? Don't change the game. I think there's some really winning formulas around that. But I think recognising your most loyal members, but Australian Super, we have a myriad of channels. Our channels really are mainly digital, to be honest with you. We're very much trying to pioneer and push to more of a two-way dialogue. Right now, I would say sometimes it feels very one-way. So a big part of what we're trying to do is listen more with members. So that's what I'm talking around, listening, understanding where members are coming from, and then actually pivoting and tailoring your member engagement program. A big thing we actually did with ours is we actually did a whole member research piece. We asked the members what we thought. We said, okay, here's everything we're doing. What do you think? And we got some really, interesting responses. And you've got to put your ego to the side when you sometimes get feedback and you go, you know what, actually, this is for you. This is not for us. This is for you. So I think don't be afraid to ask what members think or how they're feeling or what you could do better. And when they see that playing out in real life, and they go, oh my God, you listen to me. That is huge. So that's a couple of things I would say.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't have any other questions for now, so I'm going to move on. And then if you have any other questions for Jennifer later, everyone, by all means, pop them in the chat as we go. So I'll move on to introducing Michelle Pascoe. Not sure if she needs any introduction, having been a veteran of the industry for 30 odd years, but she's the founder and CEO of Optimum Operating Procedures and Services, or OOPS as it's affectionately known. Michelle lives and breathes her passion for customer service, mystery shopping and team motivation. She's an experienced businesswoman and specialist in every aspect of service operations and processes and their impact on customer services. She founded the company in 1994 and provides mystery shopping, service benchmarking, surveys and focus groups, as well as competitor audits, frontline training and leadership development. And that might follow on from Jennifer's suggestion around, looking at your member offer. I know I've done member offer audits in the past and looked at gaps. So from a club's point of view, certainly it could be a very useful exercise. Michelle is actually at Cronulla RSL today. She's been delivering her middle management movement course for future leaders this morning. Plus, she was online at 4 a.m. attending a Zoom conference from the US about customer experience and multi-generation. So hopefully she might be able to tap in on a bit of that. And if anyone can send her a virtual coffee, then go for it. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much for having me here, and welcome everybody. As you can see, I have the most glorious view here at Cronulla RSL, although I'm sure Jason Link would beg to differ, being there at North Bondi RSL, which is just as spectacular. Yes, you are right, Margot. I was up at 4 a.m, so hence I don't have any slides. So it's just me talking, and for those who know me, I can do that very well, even underwater. But I have promised Margot and Brad that I will be sharing the report that is coming through over the next 24 to 48 hours. For those who presented this morning in the US, which was Jason Dorsey. I actually saw Jason present at the National Restaurant Association in Chicago a number of years ago, and was absolutely mind-blown, because I love talking and researching everything about the generations that we have in our workplace, both our members and guests, as well as our team members, and how they interact and how they are changing. I love research. And there is a lot of opinions out there about the customer experience. But it's not just about opinions. It's about data. And without data, that's how you make decisions. We need to have that data. We can have ideas and think, yeah, well, look, I think that might work. But if we don't have data, we've got nothing to support that. Now, data can be through a lot of various ways. I know for some of you, you have your focus groups with your members and guests, and it was lovely that Jen just shared with us that, they've done that in a multiple ways, mostly online, but also face-to-face. And I know, for some of you, I facilitate that, and I really enjoy that. It's researched through many organisations here in Australia and also globally, but also my insights from all these years in the industry of training and coaching multiple generations that, have sat in that room around me, as well as through my employees when they're coming through your business to look at, that service and that experience. So I want to touch on data just for a little bit, because for some of you, you may be really into statistics, and stats are fine. And this is why I find it really odd for me, because I don't like maths. I think it's really boring. And I think stats are like, why? It's the qualitative information behind that. And I can see Andrew smiling there, Andrew Quick, who's following me, because without qualitative information, you've just got a number. We went through that, that big ride a number of years ago about net promoter scores. But what does that mean? So it's finding out and engaging both your members and guests and your frontline team and your management team about what are they looking for in your organisation? What attracts them to want to become an employee of yours, as well as what does it attract them to, try it out like Jen did with her, local bowls club up there in Queensland. Come through the door, have that one or two experiences, but what keeps you there? And that's about understanding the generations that you have in your workplace and who are your members and guests. Now, you may say to yourself, oh, you know, you're just putting us in boxes. No, generational context is not about putting people in boxes. It's about giving us clues on who they are. Because without understanding that little bit behind them, we're just guessing. And guessing can cost us a lot of money. And for many of you, you have a venue that you try to make everybody happy by offering a whole lot of diversified facilities and services. And maybe not always your bottom line is reflecting in a positive way about all the energy that you're putting in there to make everybody happy. So in this little short presentation, I really want you to, well, I would like you to, I shouldn't say want to, I would like you to start considering about those generations that you have presently in your venue, but also who are your members and guests and your employees of today, and who will they be in the future? Now, when I talk about the future, you know, at one time we would talk about years in advance, decades, but I'm just talking about the next 5 years. Who are they? Have you got the right ideal customer avatar, your ICA? Are you attracting them? Or are you attracting a group of people that have been the stalwarts of your community? And I think it's really important and truly believe that, you know, and particularly being an RSL, that's what we're there for. That's our foundation, being part of that community, that we are there for the pre-veterans. We are there for the lady or man who arrive when the doors open and are there all day, maybe sitting down, having that glass of water and nothing else. But what are we giving to them? You know, you are giving them the feeling as though they belong. And that's what we're there for. That is our true purpose. That's our foundation, is making everybody feel welcome. And be hot out there. Cost of living is rising. So we'll see perhaps many more pre-veterans and even baby boomers and multiple generations now that are finding that things, you know, the squeeze is on, it's tough. They will come to your venues to keep cool, but also a way to connect. We are there to connect. For choice, whether it's by we wish to be alone and, you know, be away from family, or that's just the way that life has evolved, that for many of your members, particularly your team, are their extended family. They love to hear about the new puppy dog, the new child, the new job. They love to see new team members. So it's ideal when you have somebody new in your team and you know that, you know, Mavis and Beryl and, you know, the rest of the girls that are sitting over there, you know, in the same spot every day, it's not just guys, that you introduce them to the new team member because they want to find out more about them. This is what all belonging is about. These are these multiple generations. We have now 4 generations in our workforce, and we have 5 generations that we are serving. And it's understanding their values and their beliefs that impact on them in a way that has them not only returning, but recommending. And they go from just being our member because the plastic card gives them a discount, or they get through with a seamless experience by just showing it. It gives them more than that. It's that feeling of belonging, that they are part of you, that they, you know, they have the opportunity to share their thoughts and their views when you ask them through surveys, and they have that opportunity to connect with the team in a much more multiple generational way than we have ever done before. So let's look at one generation in particular, and that is our Gen Zs. Now, I know for some of you, you'll say, now exactly what era are we talking about? This is from 1995 to 2012. I'm just putting that down. So at the moment, this generation are in the, you know, they're edging up to high 20s. Now, I have 3 children. One of them is Gen Z. They spend 65% on their mobile phone. But through this data that came through this morning, and that's what they were specifically looking at with this US research. Now, you might say, oh, Michelle, it's just a lot of US research. We are globally, friends. When it comes to research on generations, it is a global context that we look at. let me ask you, and Margot, if you could check the chat box for me, what do you think is the main essence, the thing that they're looking for Generation Z in your business? Oh, that was my timer to tell me that I'm starting to talk too long. What do you think might be the number one? What have we got there, Margot? Anything?
No chat, but I'm going to say purpose.
Purpose, yeah. You know what they're looking for? Sorry?
Bit too wishy-washy?
No, it's a good reason. But let me be really quick about this. 47% of Gen Z are looking for friendliness. They just want your team to be friendly. They want to feel that they've made the right decision, as all generations do. But that generation, and we really have to focus on them in the next 5 years, because they have money and they're willing to spend. Yes, it's not forgetting about the others, but the baby boomers who have got a lot of wealth are spending less because their needs have changed. So 47% are looking for friendliness, and they, not only your members and guests, but also your team. They're wanting to become part of a workplace culture that is friendly. And one more stat to just finish this off, and I find this very surprising, 59% of the generations that they targeted, which was all generations, are prepared to pay 1 to 50% more to have faster service. That seamless experience. I just find, and when I probably reflect on some of the things I'm quite happy to pay more if it means that's going to be a quicker priority to get to me for an online product, or get me further down the queue. If you've ever been to Disneyland, you pay that extra bit of money to be in the fast queue. People are prepared to do that. So looking at your venue, what are those multiple generations? How are you creating that workplace culture to attract the right people? How are you, providing the opportunities for your members and guests to be a part of them? The generations will continue. And there's a lot more in this report, a lot more data that I can show you, but I know my time is up. But there's some questions there that I really would love you to start considering on how does our business reflect on, and following on from Jen about the why, it's how do I do it as an individual, but more so, who do I ask for help? Who else in the team will bring us that vision along that journey and create that amazing workplace culture? Thank you for this opportunity, Margot. Are there any questions at all?
I don't have any questions in the box, but if I get some, I'll hold them over till the end. But I have a question I might put on notice until after Andrew's session. And it was around, obviously you do mystery shopping and training among middle managers. So thinking about boiling down what you see, maybe 1 or 2 opportunities you see for clubs in that space, and then also maybe what weaknesses you see, 1 or 2. So I'll let you think about that one while I move to Andrew, and I'll come back to you if that's okay. Thank you. So I'll quickly introduce Andrew. So Andrew Quigg is Marketing Account Manager at Daily Press, with over 12 years of experience in hospitality and clubs, working with small, medium and large club groups, as well as enhancing multiple venues' social media presence for the past 10 years. He's now managing it across a broad number of businesses at Daily Press. Andrew's seen the ins and outs of struggles that clubs have with their digital presence, and he's here today to provide some tips and tricks of do's and don'ts in today's market. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you, Margot. I'm just going to get my presentation up. I'm hoping this works. Just give me a second. I did just test this before. Okay, share, and we'll get this up. Just confirming you can see my screen. Perfect.
Okay. Yep.
So, welcome everybody. This is more to do with social media side of things, and hopefully, as Michelle says, I'm also someone that could probably talk for the next half hour, but I'm not going to. I'm going to hopefully keep this to 10 minutes. But basically, to start off, I'm going to go with people like puppies, kittens, dogs, and cats. It's out there on social media at the moment. you pretty much got to ask yourself, what is your venue's puppy? Could it be the club grants? Could it be food and beverage? Could it be events? I'm hoping you said yes to all these things, because club grants, people like to see where money's going to. It's their community's money going into your venue. They want to see if it's going back into their community. It could be anywhere between a charitable place, an event, towards domestic violence or anything like that. What you need to do, if your club does not have a big check in your person, you've got to get that big check. Buy one, get in front of the camera. You people are the face of your venue. Get behind the camera, hold the big check, take a handshake, and basically take a photo and share that to your Facebook and your Instagram. Your food and beverage. Look, this is something where I'm going to bring my girlfriend up here a little bit. I'm not even allowed to touch my food when we go to dinner with my girlfriend until she takes a photo and shares it to her Instagram. Your venue's Facebook and Instagram is basically like your personal one. People want to see the food and beverage that you're having for lunch inside your venue. So if next time you're at your club, take a picture of your food, send it to your marketing manager, make sure that obviously it's great quality. That's something that you can work on. But food and beverage is a big key of engagement on Facebook and Instagram. Events, you got to tell people what's on. So you got to give them notice. So do you have a personality that's in your venue, someone that can talk in front of the camera and just go, hey, this is what's on this week? It's a simple short video that can go on your stories on your Facebook and Instagram. It can go as a reel on your Instagram, and it's just something that works, something that's engaging. When you scroll through Facebook, what do you see? You see people, you see videos, you see people in videos. Why not replicate that? It's what Instagram and Facebook are pushing people to. It's those user-generated content that you just simply get your phone out, get in front of the phone, and just get talking, because that's what people are liking. So you've heard of plan, act, don't react. But in fact, you should actually be planning, acting, and reacting. So really, you need to plan. Who are you? What do you like? What do you sound like? Do you have a brand identity? What's your tone of voice? Do you have a certain way you want to speak to your customers? What I found in Clubland is what you say in front of your patrons is what you should be really saying on your Facebook. You don't have to be serious all the time. You can say easy things. You can use some slang. Say, hey, we've got a band on tomorrow. Come on in, have a good time. Big smiley face. Use emojis. Be crazy. But you just get to pick your brand identity and choose who you are. Do you have a social media strategy? This is something that you should be writing at the beginning of your year. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Basically, your strengths could be something like we have free live music every weekend, but your weaknesses could be something like you don't post who's actually playing on your social media. You should be really getting in front of everybody and saying, look, this is who we've got this weekend, and this is what time they're playing. If you're not putting on your social media, you're not getting it really anywhere. You can put on your in-house advertising and things like that, but I'll touch on multi-channel marketing in a bit. But one thing that is, as everybody else has said, Jen and Michelle have already said, data is king. So what you need to be focusing on is your data that you are seeing. It's very plain and simple. It's right in front of you. There's insights on Facebook. There's insights on Instagram. You can see who you target or who you are currently targeting. If you want to change that, you just need to change what you are actually putting out there. So at the moment, yeah, data is everything. Have a look at your data properly, read it, and just react to that. But one thing that is a major thing in social media land is pretty much now your receptionist has a new role. So in saying that, gone are the days of people picking up the phone and calling up the club and saying, hey, is your bistro still open? Hey, are you still open? or is your restaurant taking bookings, or something like that. What your receptionist should be doing is getting behind Facebook and Instagram and checking comments and all your direct messaging and your inbox on Facebook and social media. Because people these days, I don't know if it's come down to laziness or it's just a different generation that's coming through. People are more inclined to inbox you and say, hey, are you still taking bookings at your restaurant? There needs to be someone that's engaging with these customers. It could be your receptionist, it could be your marketing manager, it could be someone, your marketing coordinator or somebody like that, that just checks your inbox every day. If there's a comment there, make sure to comment back, say thanks for your message. Yes, we are taking bookings through Facebook. What time did you want to book in? It's something as easy as that. That's basic, but engagement is key. You need to build a customer's trust. So another thing is to be sexy. So I put it in a bit of an acronym here, but it's super exciting. Xenial. Sorry, I'm just laughing because sexy is just funny in any case. Super exciting, xenial, and yummy. So xenial meaning being hospitable, welcoming sort of thing to new customers. Are you catching people's eyes? So a couple of things that do work on Facebook and Instagram in your social media are animations. Basically, animations are anything that moves. So it will catch your eye if it moves. If it's still image, it will work maybe once or twice, but if you just put a little slider in there, it's going to make so much more difference. Familiar faces. I said this earlier, when you do anything, like your big check presentation or anything like that, familiar faces are always great. A lot of you are the face of the club. There's directors here, there's marketing managers and things like that. Make sure to get behind the camera and actually smile when you do things, because people like to see people that they see in the club. People like people. Multi-channel marketing. So multi-channel marketing is more if it's in your venue. So if you've got a car promotion or something like of sort, make sure that it's on your website, it's on your Facebook, it's on your Instagram, on one form or the other. It's very important that you are covering every single basis to make sure that it is engaging. So if you do, for example, have an in-venue display, your car, for example, you can get someone in front of the car going, hey, this is your car. You could win this. Another thing is user-generated content. So you, once again, get your phone out and actually take a photo of people, of food, of your venue. One thing that is a major thing that's working at the moment is getting on your busy days, your Fridays, your Saturdays. If you've got free live music, make sure to take a video, take a quick snap of people in your venue. People like to see that user-generated content, nothing where you get a photographer out where it's very professional, very staged. It's more your candid photos and things like that of general public in your venue. That's what's working the best at the moment. An on-brand Instagram feed. I'm going to bring my girlfriend up again. I'm hoping she doesn't watch this, but one thing is she doesn't go to Google anymore to search up a new venue or anything like that. She goes to Instagram. So she goes to Instagram, she takes the feed. So by an Instagram feed, I mean your page on Instagram. It's just, if you've got good food, you've got good cocktails, make sure that's the center of attention. Make sure that's what's up there. That's what's working. Another thing that is working are links on Facebook. So if you've got a new menu, a new event that's coming up, make sure you put a link to a picture that you use. So that link could be your new menu. If you've got a link to tickets, for example. So you've got a new event coming up, for example, Australia Day, you've got a ticketed event, there's Shannon Knoll playing or something like that. Make sure you put the link in the post so people have somewhere to go to find a ticket. Make it easier for people. Make your page a bit more exciting. Things that don't work, same graphic over and over. So yes, graphics are great to be used, but don't overkill. Don't use the same graphic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Use the graphic once in the week, and then the second time, maybe get someone behind the camera and saying, look, you got a chance to win these tickets or something like that. Low quality images and videos, try to stay away. I know it's hard when you're trying to transfer images to someone that you've just taken a picture of. Make sure you do that correctly. There's plenty of platforms out there, WeTransfer, Google Drive, even WhatsApp is something that works well. Inactivity is something that is definitely something that you need to stay away from. Once again, bringing up my girlfriend, she doesn't like going to a page and seeing that they haven't posted for 4 months. Make sure that you've got at least 2 or 3 posts going up each week. Oh my God, I just won. So in saying this, this one's quite an easy, self-explanatory one. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, basically. Nothing beats free stuff. And basically all you need to do is allocate a small budget each month to online giveaways. For example, this week you could do a $50 food and beverage voucher. In 2 weeks' time, do 50 free coffees. It's something that you can put up on Facebook and say, if you were a cocktail, what cocktail would you be? It gets engagement, it gets people talking. You can always just say, remember to tag your friends for your chance to gain more entries into this. So something like this works. Make sure you always try to get them to claim your prize inside the venue. Obviously, this is the whole point of this, is engaging them and getting them inside the venue. So one I do like is actually doing the 50 free coffees. It's not going to cost you that much money. It's getting them inside the venue, take a picture of the people holding the free coffees. That's what's engaging. That's what's showing the community that you're actually giving back to people. It's all about making your page more exciting and making people want to come back to your page. But yeah, so same, but different. This is mainly talking about what your point of difference is. If you don't have a point of difference, look at what your competitors are doing and do it better. So one thing I always look at is everybody has a chicken snitty, everybody has the same beers on tap. You just got to think about what your point of difference is and roll with it. So you actually got to see what's out there. What are you doing differently? But if you aren't doing anything differently, make sure you are just doing it better than your competitors. So it could be a happy hour or something like that. Have it on a better hour. It's just simple things, basic things that will make your social media, your in-venue presence so much better. One way to stand out is actually to put more effort into your posts. As I've said over and over again, get your camera out, get in front of the camera and actually use the photos that you actually use on your phone. It's something that's working out of this world. So like as a business, like it's quality, not just quantity that you should be striving for. Like, here's a good example. Imagine you threw a party and tons of people showed up, but they all just sat there silently, no small talk, no dancing, no conversation, no questionable drinking games. Was the party really a success? Like the RSVP list looked good, but sure. Do your guests have fun? Do they like your dip, for example? You've got to put a bit more effort behind your post. Don't just put something up where you're just telling someone this is the raffle, this is what's happening. Put a bit more effort into it. Get someone holding a meat tray and say, hey, you could win this tonight. Come on in and try your luck, basically. So it's something that's very confused. People tend to post every day and it could be nothing. You need to put a bit of effort behind your post, put a bit of quality behind it, and it will work that way. Be resourceful. So this is something that is different and something that I think a lot of clubs should be trying. So collaborating with influencers. So influencers, yeah, they may have a bit of a stigma behind them where they just take your money and you don't see any results, but it's actually working. So there are many foodies, connoisseurs, bloggers are willing to take your money, but in exchange for great exposure. These guys have a following. So make sure you get in front of these influencers and say, hey, for example, I live in Sydney. There's a guy named Sydney Food Blogger. This guy literally just goes to certain places, try their food, and it's something that you should give a go. If you have a big artist, I brought up Shannon Knoll before. Say, for example, you've got Shannon Knoll coming to your venue. Don't forget to tag him in all your posts. If you're struggling to sell tickets, make sure you get them to share your event on their page because they have a cult following already. It's something to attract new customers as well. Another thing is to join local groups. Something that actually works really well is, for example, if you've got a local mums group, if you've got a school holiday event coming up, make sure you join this group through your page and actually post into these groups. It's something that works really well. Even something like a Biggest Morning Tea, a Mother's Day food special or something like that, find a local group, join it, and then share the quality content on there as well. Something that I should be touching on is paid social media and Google Ads. You don't want to be just boosting your post willy-nilly. It's something that you need to put a bit more of a thought behind. It's sort of something that you need to do a campaign behind. You sort of want to put your money behind it, not just for 4 days, something like that. That's something that a lot of clubs tend to do currently, is just, oh, we need to get it out in front of people very quickly. You've got to stop reacting in that sort of way. You've got to plan it out and actually have a campaign behind it. Put it up a month prior, and then you'll see the results come through. You'll sell more tickets. You'll see more people come to your club and things like that. Google Ads, I recommend every single club should be doing, and it's something that I will bring up. I know I'm going over time completely, but it's something that everybody should be doing. Google Ads are very highly recommended. It's really to get you on the top of everybody's Google search. It's to get you on the top of everybody's page. It's to get in front of everybody's eyes. It's more about brand awareness at this stage when you go to Google Ads. It's just getting your venue in front of everybody. And another thing, just to conclude, I know I've gone over time, I'm sorry, but one thing that you should do is ask me questions, because there's a lot of questions behind social media, a lot of questions behind digital marketing, but it's something that I have answers to. So don't be afraid to ask me questions. Like, I'll leave my email there, so you can actually email me after if you come up with anything. But yeah, it is an interesting space to be in, but I don't think clubs are doing it properly, and it's something that could definitely be happening and something that you should be focusing on.
Thank you, Andrew. Lots of tips packed into do's and don'ts packed in there. I'm sure you see a full gamut, some that are doing it really well and some that have a lot of room to move. And likewise, I know you work across some food organisations as well. So that was super interesting. Lots of examples. I love the analogies, all of those sorts of things. Still thinking about which cocktail I'd be, mind you. It's a tough one. So we'll quickly see, I can't see any questions there for the time being. I will just share something quickly that the association's doing from an engagement point of view that we launched yesterday, which when I met with someone recently, they said they were having difficulty engaging with staff and to some extent members. And they said that September was something that they'd had really good traction with from a staff engagement point of view. And we'd already been working with something behind the scenes. So I thought, gee, let's get on and launch this. So I'm just going to share my screen, and I feel like Andrew also helped me out here because there's a dog in it. But the association's launched a fundraising month like September, like November, which is going to be for March under our Veterans Benevolent Fund called Snores for a Cause. The idea being that you log 8 hours of sleep a night, more for kids, throughout every night of March. So we're encouraging you to get your teams involved as clubs, get your community groups who sign on for club grants, approach your local schools, approach corporates as a way for us to engage with our teams, something a bit fun about a serious message, which is veteran and family wellbeing, but certainly something that we're doing to galvanise both our members, our staff. It's an interesting time. And so keep an eye out for Snores for a Cause, but certainly we'd encourage you to get involved. And there's many more images to the campaign than the dog, but, it's something we see a lot of legs for families and all of those sorts of things. Now, I did put Michelle on notice about some tips of things that work well in venues, having done a lot of mystery shopping when it comes to staff customer and member engagement, and some weaknesses that you see. Is that something that you're able to touch on, Michelle, before we wrap up in a few minutes?
Well, I know we're really short on time, and it was great for having this opportunity to follow after Andrew. Customer experience is driving tech adaptation. If you are not adapting to technology, you are going to be left behind. I love Andrew's insights about having that online presence, the 50 free coffees. We are highly visual. Gen Z in particular are conditioned not to read, but we are all visual. And probably the biggest tips, and this would be a tip as well for employees as well as members and guests, and also a weakness. We want to see ourselves. We want to see ourselves in your brand. We are a multicultural country of age, demographics, cultures, whole melting pot. But we don't see enough of ourselves. And if employees or future employees or members and guests don't see themselves in your advertising, then they don't feel that they're going to belong. So that's probably just one tip and one weakness that we've seen, that I see multiple times over all these years. There are some that are doing amazingly well, but there are others that are still just, and it's really just taking that time to look inside our cultures. So I'll leave it at that. Margot, as I said, I'll share that research, but I loved everything that both Jen and Andrew shared, and particularly that we have to adapt technology. Without that, we are just going to be a beautiful boxed building and nobody inside, no employees and no members and guests.
And I think to wrap up with that friendliness, learning you had, that certainly Gen Z are looking at. And I saw an interesting post by a demographer this morning on one of the social media channels talking about the next sort of decade, and saying that, which generation was it? Millennials will be about to inherit the assets of their parents. And so there will be this raft of wealth for millennials in the market next year. Now, it was specifically about real estate, but I also think there's some learning for us in clubs, because often, some clubs might think, okay, I cater to this particular generation, but being mindful that, some of those generations are about to be pretty cashed up in 5, 10, 15 years. And we would love to welcome them and make them feel that sense of belonging, and see themselves represented in our venues. And enjoying themselves as staff as well, ideally. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to wrap up and thank Jennifer, Michelle and Andrew. Incredibly interesting, lots of tips to take away. So please join me in thanking them very much. I'd also like to thank you for participating. I'm mindful of how much is going on in the industry right now, so I really appreciate you taking the time. And there are a number of people who missed out, so it's going to be recorded. So you can watch it again afterwards, or anyone who missed out can too, if you recommend it to anyone else. So thank you for joining, and keep an eye out for the next webinar, which we'll advise everyone of soon. Take care.